Up. Jasper is setting up his mic.
Oh,
Uh,
wait, I'm on mute. Whoops. Like,
oh.
okay, here.
We are live. Happy Warrior Wednesday. Welcome to the Warrior Circle. How you doing today, Jasper? Before I go into the intro.
I am doing good. It was a long day at work. And then we got home late, and then I closed my eyes for a little bit, then I opened them, and I was like, "Oh, I better hurry up." I was like, "Oh crap!"
Well, you made it here in reality, which is great, and not in your dreams,
Yes, yes, absolutely.
because you could have been visiting in your dreams and astro projecting.
Right. Sometimes being there in spirit is just like not enough.
Nah, bro, we need your physical form.
Yeah.
Especially for today's conversation, which I'll get into in a moment. But I'm going to start off with the pleasantries here, the intro. Welcome, Warrior, to the Warrior Circle, your gathering space in Infinite, the first ever science backed fitness fantasy role playing game. I'm
Mhm.
Walt, your 5-star master wizard, founder, and lead designer with 15 years of XP transforming lives through physical mastery, nutritional optimization, mental performance, and gamified behavioral design. Here we share wisdom, ignite action, and unlock the secrets to becoming your ultimate warrior self. If you're ready to level up your body, mind, and spirit, then join us at fitnessfantasyrpg.com.
Mhm.
Boom. I'm getting a little bit better on the banner stuff here.
Nice.
Growing, it's work in progress.
Yeah, I see that. I like it.
Over there, you can create a bronze tier account for free to gain access to tons of free to play loot and our waiting list for our pay to play game realms, which is a real experience. This week's topic is going to be all about habits, and today I am joined with our barbarian wizard, Jess Spartacus, the first, I would say,
Yeah, the first barbarian, the original barbarian.
the OG,
Yes, or the OB. You know,
or
right?
the ITC,
That's right.
OBITC.
The infinite tribal chief.
Yes. This is going to be pretty interesting conversation because habits have been something that everyone's familiar with, right? Like we all know what habits are. We all know the difference between good habits, bad habits. Maybe we're not aware of our bad habits.
Mm.
But I think it's gonna be a great conversation because we got an awesome topic along the lines of our new skill system that we just dropped at Infinite. Super pumped, super excited to kind of expedite this update. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop a link for anyone who is in the chat here. Again, if you're in the chat, let us know. Head over to the comments, say what's up, say hello. Let us know where you're seeing this from because we are streaming live on 3 platforms. But I just dropped in the chat here a link to the update notes for our latest update, update 3.9.9. There's only one more update left, and that is the big kahuna, Infinite 4.0. So we are getting ever so closer to the big 4.0 drop. We've been dropping periodically some info on 4.0. Again, everything is going to be inside the Infinite library if you head over to our website if you want to check it out.
Mhm.
But our skill system, I want to jump straight into just some background context on our skill system. So, our skill system really started as a simple habit tracker. That's really what it was. It was just drink water, get 5K steps, and it was just check this thing off and do this thing.
Yeah, uh, dude. I mean, I remember back in the day when all of our skills were on the PDF file.
So that was actually the technically the real skill system, right? So we weren't even calling it a skill system. It was just habits. It was just habits in our fitness app, fitness habits, basically. You check it off, and that's about it. And that was basically the whole entire experience. And it's great, right? If you aren't tracking your habits, and now you have a way to measure your progress and get feedback and be able to track your progress and also keep yourself accountable when you do miss habits,
Right.
that's huge, right? Because most people aren't doing any of that. So it's better than nothing, but it wasn't unique, and it sure as hell wasn't like an RPG, right? Um, yeah, not even close. It was way more fitness focused, because habits obviously are based in reality, right? And what you're doing and what actions that you're taking in the here and the now, not in the virtual world, right?
Yeah.
So you alluded that it really started with the PDF. So I created a actual skill system, and the way that we were only able to actually like engage with it was via a PDF document, which broke down the skills. It had levels, and each level had a different objective or challenge, and it was like the beginning stages of a skill system. And the cool thing about that skill system that really stuck with me, which is why I knew that I wanted to really build it to something bigger and better, was how people were looking at their habits as skills, which was the big thing. There were certain skills that came out where it was like, for example, we had a skill dedicated to fats, and there was objectives or challenges that you had to complete that most people weren't thinking about when it comes to fats. So in a way, you were kind of looking at, wow, do I actually get, how much saturated fats am I getting? How much unsaturated fats am I getting? Am I using the healthy fats when I'm cooking? And really asking yourself these questions. So in a way, you were kind of also gauging the things that you are aware of about fats just by engaging with our skill system. So in a way, you were getting educated on different ways that you can improve that particular skill. And there were some warriors that were coming in that were like, wow, I never even knew this is how I could improve my sleep or improve the amount of carbohydrates that I could get into my body and things like that. Jasper, was there any particular skills that really kind of stuck out for you? Like, if you remember?
Um. Yeah. There's a bunch of them, man. Um. I think number one, probably the most profound one, besides being aware of like your carbs, your fats, your proteins, and stuff like that. Besides those skills and those habits, was the Windwalker stride. Well, back in the day, it was just walking, right?
Yep, steps.
The step count,
The step skill. Yep, yep.
like like the stepping skill, man. And the reason why I'm saying this was because that was the one. Well, I mean, one of the deciding factors in me getting leaner than I've ever been when we're going into a bodybuilding show for what show was that? The Northern Classic, I believe. Yeah, the Northern Classic slash Sasquatch Bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And being able to, you know, that habit slash that skill, executing that every single day, um, automatically, right? Like as soon as you get up, like you're pretty much automated to walk around everywhere, right? When you go somewhere, like you go to like the shopping mall, you park furthest away as possible so you get more steps in, right? But the thing is like the accumulation of all those steps, aside from your other daily activity like your training and your posing and everything, um, had a substantial effect on how much overall calories I was burning throughout the day.
Steps, they're powerful. That's one of the most. And you know what's funny about when you mention that particular skill too is we all move our bodies, right? It's just a matter of how much, right?
Hmm.
Whether you have a Apple Watch or your phone or whatever that may be, steps are being made. It could be 200 steps, or it could be 2,000, or it could be 20,000 plus.
Right.
So awareness was the big stepping stone of having a skill system, right? Is skill systems allowed us to focus on these particular areas and not just become more aware of it, but actually understand how to improve it and how to increase it through repetition and through consistent challenge and learning. And I think that's the recipe of a great skill system, and also establishing a habit is really understanding that yes, habits require consistency and repetition over an extended period of time, but in order to take it to the next level, it must evolve. And the way that we evolve habits is through our skill system. So it provides you with a progressive approach that is evolving over time with new challenges that are going to essentially allow you to learn new things and require you to really test your skills with that particular habit. It's not just testing your discipline or testing your motivation on some days when you need a little bit of a boost to follow through, right? So I think that's really really good that you mentioned those particular skills. Now let's dive into the recent update. So we covered a little bit about our previous skill system, how it started, at least the beginning stages of what it was and how we engaged with it. But let's actually dive into what has changed in the recent 3.9.9 update in Infinite. Let me add you to the side here, Jasper. Boom. Live. We are live. If you're here with us live, let us know in the comments. Love to see your name or see your face. Just drop in. The old system versus the new system. Sorry for the formatting here. This was a screenshot, so couldn't necessarily edit a screenshot to make it look a little bit more less cluttered on the left side here. But hey, we'll work with it. So big thing with the old system I mentioned earlier, it was very linear and it had a basically a level system from level 1 to level 10, which really kind of didn't really provide much meaningful milestones simply because most people weren't progressing all the way up to the max level. And I think that was the big issue is the challenges just got so exponentially hard that it was almost like impossible to get to the max level, which almost kind of defeats the purpose of building a habit, right? You kind of at least want to build it to a point where you feel like you are getting the maximum benefit out of that habit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's levels to it, and that was the big challenge, was trying to figure out how do we progress people from level 1 to level 10. And unfortunately, people were getting to level 3, 4, 5, 6, very few, maybe 7, maybe less than 1%, level 8. But no one, no one that got even close to level 10 in our old skill system. New skill system that we just dropped now has a rarity progression, going from common to uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, mythic, and celestial. Stuff that you might be familiar with, right? In a lot of RPGs that you played. I
Hmm.
think there's again, I haven't played every single RPG, but I know that there's a fair share that have legendary as the highest rarity, and possibly something else. Some have mythic, some have celestial, but we have two rarities above legendary, which are very, very, very valuable, very rare, even more rare than a legendary. So I think that's the big thing with this system and why it's better than the level system is one, it's familiar for a lot of people who play RPGs when it comes to rarity systems, getting rare items, rare skills. Plus, it's far more rewarding when you're going from a uncommon to a rare or an epic and getting to that legendary status, right? Because it's almost like a status symbol in a way. So, in the example of steps, like you were saying, Jasper, once you get to 15,000 steps, do you feel like you're common or uncommon? No,
No, no, absolutely not.
right? You feel like epic, like, yo, this is epic,
Yeah.
and then maybe even legendary, right? If you went from 2,000 steps to 15, then you're definitely feeling legendary, right? Like, this is
Yes.
like a legendary milestone. So, what are your thoughts on going from the level system to a rarity system?
I like it because it makes me feel like I'm a certain breed of a warrior every single time I level up in my rarity. Like I was actually going over my skills like earlier. I was like, let me just kind of check to see if I meet the criteria for anything. I'm like, oh, Leviathan's blessing, hydration. Like, boom, hit 10. I took a screenshot. I posted it on our forum, our community forum. So now it's level. Now it's ready to be leveled up. So
Boom. That
mhm,
simple.
yeah,
And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that process too and how it's changed in a later part right here. But next, let's go into task spamming. Now, what we mean by this, as an example, is Mark 30 completion. So complete it 30 times, which that grind was rarely taught or challenged. And what I mean by that is that was basically the milestone for everything that you did. So it was just complete this X time for every single skill, every habit, whether that's water, sleep, getting your protein intake in, uh, doing some fasted cardio, whatever habit that you're trying to establish, every single habit was completed X times. So it was just spamming the same task is just do it X times. And that's pretty kind of boring. You know what I mean? And it also was predictable, right? You could predict, oh, I'm gonna after I complete it 5 times, I'm gonna have to do it 10 times. If I do it 10 times, I'm gonna have to do it 15, 20. It was very, very mundane, but simple. And simple is ideally great, but when it comes to progression and really challenging yourself and growing, and evolving and staying engaged, it has to be there has to be some sort of variety and novelty to introduce some type of new challenge. So how we did that was having a unified upgrade challenge. So basically going from each rarity provided a different new upgrade requirement for each rarity. So for example, going from a common to an uncommon, all you have to do is complete it X times. So basically what we had before. But it changes when you go from uncommon to rare. Now, the challenge to upgrade your skill from uncommon to rare is getting it into a streak, which means you have to complete it consecutive times for a certain time period, which solidifies actually building that habit of doing it consistently. So it's not just, okay, I'm going to do it on Monday, maybe I'll do it Thursday, I'll maybe do it Friday next week. It's no, you have to do it every single day for a consecutive period of time in order to upgrade from uncommon to rare. So that's one of the big challenges of increasing that difficulty going from one rarity to another. And that's how you're going to stay super engaged and also test your skills, which is huge, right? It's one thing to just do something every day, but it's another thing to challenge yourself once you get to a certain benchmark or a milestone where you feel like, okay, I got this. This is good. I think this is something I could stick to, but now let me try to take it up one more notch.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And for those of you who are kind of like maybe trying to connect the dots as to why this is the way that it is you're stacking small wins every single day, or almost every single day, and these small wins develop habits and skills. But that's also not just building up on wins and you know developing habits, but getting better at what you're actually trying to do. Like for example, me, I'm I'm trying to develop some kind of a reading skill. So every single day, I'm reading 10 pages a day of whatever book. Right now, I'm doing some literature on weight training because I can't get enough of that, obviously, and then in finance. So 10 pages. Try to develop that habit, small wins every single day. And even if I can't get to 10 pages, at least read something, right? Some type of like nudge forward, right? And then when I'm ready to, I could bump it up to 15 pages a day,
Hmm.
20 pages a day, right? So that's the science and the method to this madness is you're not just developing small wins and habits, but you're also getting better at what you're trying to achieve.
And learning new things too and challenging yourself in different ways, right? Like
So,
you
yeah.
gave the example of 10 pages, an example of what that would look like in Infinite as a skill. It would start off with common being read 10 pages. Uncommon could be reading 15 pages or reading it for a specific amount of time, like for 30 minutes
Yeah.
straight.
Yes, yes. And then celestial, you're just putting the book up to your forehead and you've read it. You know,
You just absorb the text into your brain.
you just through sheer belief and fully developed mythic skill, you can just put the text up against your forehead and you've absorbed all the information.
At that point, at Celestial, you'll most likely be writing books at that point.
I
Um, at that point, probably.
mean, the books are writing themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was a really good example, and that actually is a great segue to the next section, which is low engagement. So there was really no stakes, and there was also minimal feedback in our prior habit, or you could even just say habits in general, right? Habits in general really have no real stakes unless you have accountability, right? And other people really there to be well, at least be there for you when you are trying to skip out or not follow through or even just forget or drop the habit.
Right.
So big problem that we had was progress never reset, and validation was just a checkbox. So there was no public way to kind of showcase like, hey, I completed this thing. Like so, dopamine release, which is very very important when it comes to building a habit, was non-existent. It was really just from checking a box, and that's great initially if you're not used to checking boxes when you're tracking your habits, but over time it really goes down, right? It becomes just a thing that you check off. It's just like picking up your phone. If you haven't picked up your phone all day and then you pick it up for the first time, oh man, you're going to be flooded with dopamine. You can be like, "Oh, what's going on? What's new? What's so and so doing?" But if you pick up your phone every 5 minutes, right, you don't necessarily get the same dopamine release as if you waited 5 hours. And the same thing goes with habits when you check it off and try to complete it every single day. So, our solution was having an accountability loop. So basically, progress resets after each upgrade, and you post proof, like a screenshot or some data that you have about your habit, and a wizard validates along with the community celebrating your accomplishment, which is massive. So to put it real simple as far as what that loop is like, let's say you completed the requirements to upgrade from common to uncommon, which is completing a skill 10 times. Basically, what you do is you take a screenshot of you and your data that says, I completed it 10 times. Awesome. So you just validated it internally, visually, right? Hey, I did this thing. Take a screenshot. Then what you do is you just go into our forum and you share it. So that way, now the community gets to see, hey, so and so accomplished this thing. Congrats. And then a wizard now also is congratulating you and upgrading your skill for you. And that's it. Then you open up the app, which again I'm going to give you an example. So if you want to stay tuned to see what all this actually looks like, real time, stay tuned. But that's the loop. Complete skill, take a screenshot, share it in the forum, celebrate. And that accountability loop is so big when it comes to sticking to habits and also solidifying a habit for the long term when other people can celebrate and you can celebrate along with them. So that was what you were sharing before, right, Jasper?
Yeah.
Huge change, and very simple, very easy, right? But other than that, static identity. This is a really big one too. Same skill, same name, same effects forever. There's no identity shifting, and when it comes to habits, which I'm going to actually drop a link to my latest blog that I just did. Give me a second here, where I dive deep into habit formation and the psychology behind habits. You can check it out here. I threw it in the comment section. I go deep into why identity is the first step and most powerful step when it comes to forming a habit is really trying to become the version of yourself that you believe that you can be. And in Infinite,
Mm-hmm.
it's becoming a warrior and doing what warriors do, right? And really embodying and understanding what those things are and following through and developing the habits to do so. So that's so important when it comes to habit formation is forming that identity of the person that would, for example, be healthy or active or eat nutritiously or be strong in the gym or be able to run a mile in a short period of time. Really imagining yourself as that identity and that person is the first step and should be the first step before you're thinking about the actions required or the habit itself. Again, forming that identity was something that was missing from our prior skill system before. We would reinforce it in other areas, but not in the habit itself. So, our solution in this latest update was having these evolving skills that grow with you. So, the way that we do that is number one, visually. So, with our rarity system, when you're going from a common to an uncommon, there's a color and a symbol that can help you feel like you are growing and changing and evolving and transforming in a way. Just like the items that you get in games, right? When you get that epic item, when you get that legendary item, you feel different. You start to step deeper into the character that you are trying to the ultimate character that you're trying to build in the game, right? The strongest character, the best looking character if the gear has aesthetics, right? Same
Mm-hmm.
thing goes with the color symbolism for these particular skills, but the name also grows with it as well. So, for example, we have a skill called Dream Weaver's Restoration, and that is our sleep focused skill. But when you upgrade the rarity, it goes from Dream Weaver's Restoration to Dream Weaver's Rejuvenation. So you are not only visually seeing the rarity increase, but you're also seeing the name also progress with you. And it will progress every single time you upgrade your skill. So you basically feel more powerful, which is so important when it comes to habit formation, right? Is feeling like you're making progress and also feeling like the habit is also benefiting you for the short term and the long term, right? Because that's the worst thing that you could do is do something repeatedly and not really know if it's either going to help you or really make things worse, right? So I think that's really, really big. And then after that, we have the onboarding woes, which is just basically what I call is identical skill pool on install plus migration headaches for veterans. So basically, new players and veteran players were conflicting with what skills to focus on, what skills not to. Some new players were getting particular skills, veteran players were getting unique skills, and there wasn't really a unified, established base skills that everyone has. So that was the big thing is really getting those five core skills, which I'll show in a moment, having it pre-equipped with every avatar, new and old. And that's good. One of the big things. And everything also automatically starts at common. So no matter how skilled you think you are, everyone has to start from the common rarity and grow from there. If it's already a habit, then guess what? You'll grow and upgrade your skills very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Won't be a problem.
Exactly. So I was really, really kind of hesitant to kind of go into this because I know there's a lot of people, a lot of players, old players that have skills that they've been developing for like months, if not years, streaks, total completions in the hundreds, if not thousands. But in a way, this is a new challenge and a new experience. So, and especially if you've never experienced Infinite before, this would be, a way for you to kind of start off on a level playing field as everyone else. So you don't have to feel like, oh, this isn't a habit, so I'm not going to be good at this, or I won't be able to improve this as good as other people, or I'll be behind, or I'm not ready. Nope. Everyone's starting at common, and everyone has to upgrade their skills at their own pace. So, what do you think about that, Jasper?
No problem with me. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been through all the ups and downs, and I've been through the streaks. I've been through the dry spells of like 2, 3 days of like nothing, and then bouncing back, and then hitting streaks like I never left. So, yeah,
Just a new challenge to overcome, right?
exactly.
But that actually transitions to the last two things. Number one, previously we had a one size fits all loadout. Now in the new system, we have a flexible skill tree. So there are skills that will be coming out that are brand new that you can equip based on your own particular role, which is your playstyle. So when you create your avatar in Infinite, you get to choose your own role, and that role is a reflection of how you want to play. So, for example, I'm a champion. I love achievements and milestones. So, I love getting first place in our tournaments, and getting doing a 1,500 workouts, getting that milestone. Seeing that achievement badge for me is everything. And Jasper, you're either a champion or a ravager, right? Which one?
Um, no, I think I switched to a guardian not too long
What?
ago.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. And share what the guardian is.
So my whole thing is I'm a man of like the community. So I lead by example and I celebrate other people's wins. And celebrating other people's wins is actually very, very exciting and fulfilling because that means our community is getting stronger, you know. And you always want to have a strong community because if you don't have a strong community, then what the hell are you doing this for? You know,
Seriously.
you know.
And eventually, down the road, there's going to be skills specifically for the Guardian that will be doing things like this, participating in the warrior circle and being part of the conversation, right?
Mm,
That's
yeah, there we go. There we go.
right. And then
Now,
you can track that,
yeah,
challenge yourself, be involved, share your
yeah.
2 cents, lead people, guide people. So we're gonna dive so much deeper into that stuff in Infinite 4.0. Again, coming out still in Q2, so very very soon. We just dropped update 3.9.9, so you can kind of tell we're one more update away for until 4.0. But to finish up here, then I'm gonna dive into an actual example of what it looks like inside of our fitness apps and actually see skills in action. Is there was no community ritual. So that's one of the big things with habits is yes, it's supposed to be ritual for you to do something consistently, possibly at the same time every day, right? Whether that's waking up and drinking water, which is actually one of our skills. That's one of the challenges for one of our skills for water, right? Every time you wake up, you drink water, right? It's a great ritual, but there's nothing community focused with that ritual. So now in the skill management hub in our app section, where you can basically upgrade your skills and also share things inside our forum, we actually when you complete a milestone or hit a certain benchmark with that particular habit or skill, we it actually appears in our community feed. So other players know the milestones that you achieve with that particular habit when it happens. So you not only get notified, but the community also gets notified when you achieve something. And that is a huge feedback loop and a feedback mechanism that a lot of people just don't have when it comes to building habits for long term success. So, again, having the community aspect is a huge, huge incentive to provide that extra layer or that extra armor of accountability so that you sustain that habit for the long term and build it over time, because that's the big thing is it's about repetition over time. But with our skill system, it's about continuous and progressive challenge at your own particular level of challenge that you can tolerate, right? It's not throwing the hardest challenge at you and seeing, hey, can you overcome this? It's progressively climbing up that ladder, which really gets you engaged, just like in any RPG or any game that you played, right? You basically face the same challenge over and over and over again. You're gonna get bored. You're gonna drop it eventually, right? You're just, I'm bored. I want to do something else or play a different game, right? But unfortunately, as long as we are alive and making decisions, at least, or AI is not making decisions for us.
Not yet.
Not yet. This is the game that we have to play, but most people don't know how to play that game. But with our skill system, we finally can. So, Jasper, what are your thoughts on the old system versus new system before we dive in to the fitness app?
Well, um, the old system isn't going to be redundant, right? Kind of like the task spam. I'm like, yep, I slept. Yep, drank water. Hit protein. Yep, I walked today. I walked. And okay, cool. And oh, look at that. I'm number 2 on the rankings. Cool, awesome. And then close. Then you just close the app. Now it's like, okay, so I got 10 completions for Leviathan's Blessing. Okay, so I can go to uncommon now. Okay, okay, cool. Awesome. Right. So it's more of like now, like you're actually more engaged because you're actually looking like, okay, how much do I need? How much more do I need? Okay, okay. It's almost like when you're playing like your favorite game, right? Like on Xbox. Like for me, it's like what's a good
You
hacking
could,
game?
I
That
think, I
Warriors.
think you could give an example of Pokemon since you're a Pokemon fan, right?
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. Um, well, there's things like complicated things, like filling out like a Pokédex from a previous game. You are now allowed to participate in an event that gives away like a certain rare Pokemon. So now, like if you have the previous game and you didn't complete the previous Pokédex, and you hear about this giveaway, now you're gonna fire up that old game. Like, oh, do I have
Hmm.
my Pokédex in this game? So I can go to this event and get this this free mythical Pokemon. Like, what? I actually need this. So
Also, like upgrading rarity is kind of similar to like evolving your Pokemon, right? It's that level of excitement that you want to have when you finally reach a milestone, at least with your habit or an infinite your skill, right? It's going from, Charmander to Charmeleon, right? Like, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, man, I was like, this is the greatest thing on the fucking planet. Oh wait,
yeah,
I don't think I'm supposed to curse. Oops, but
yeah,
that's how I felt as a kid.
and when you level up, when you level up your Pokemon, they learn more advanced moves, right?
Yes.
So when
Yep.
you level up as a warrior, now your skills start to advance, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I know this is the moment everyone's been waiting for. Let's dive into the actual what it looks like inside of our app. So I'm gonna bring you back up in here. This is my personal dashboard. So as you can see, there's a couple things that you want to see that you can see here. This is just what I've ate today. This is also what I'm currently weighing. If you're wondering, Jasper, weight and body fat percentage. I was a little bit higher today than
What did
usual.
you today? Just curious.
Not much. Not much. As you can see, I ate a smoothie and I had some chicken and I had some peanuts. That's about it. So
Nice, dude.
yeah.
I I had like 120 grams of protein at work alone because we have a rice cooker now, and we have an air fryer.
Oh,
So now it's a lot easier to just hit my golem's nourishment skill like that, right? Because I can just cook my
totally,
food at work, you know.
totally. So here is what the new update just showed, or just basically dropped. So as you can see on the left here, you see green circle symbol. That's the rarity of the skills. This is old skill system. This is new skill system. So I'm gonna jump straight into Golem's sustenance.
Oh, okay. Uncommon sustenance.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. Have you seen Uncommon yet? Probably not. No, right?
not yet.
So basically, every single skill you can. If I could swipe, how do I swipe? Uh, I can't swipe because I'm like controlling my. I'm trying to control
Oh,
my
you mean
phone
like
with my.
to like the next where it has the
Ye-
descriptions.
yeah, yeah. Wow, that sucks. Wow, lot we're live. So okay. Yeah, I can't get to the descriptions from here, but I'm gonna improvise here. So I'm gonna I'm gonna drop over to here real quick. Give me a second. Bear with me, guys.
Hmm.
But Jasper, I want you to chime in on how you're engaging with the new skill system currently. So you open up the app, you see these new skills.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
first thing that you're doing when you're going into these new skills as I fix this real
Um,
quick?
looking at my requirements. The first thing I'm doing is looking at my requirements to see what I need to do to level up to uncommon, and then I'm looking at what is my current streak anyway. like how well am I doing for the month of April, and how close am I? You know, and
Mhm.
Yeah, it's constantly engaging. I can see how it can be kind of obsessive because I just want to level it up. Because eventually, I want everything to look like purple. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I at least want purple going all the way down my screen, not the little white circle, which is common. Because I'm not common new, bro. Come on, man.
So you want the epic skills is what you're trying to say.
Yes. Yeah.
You're trying to upgrade everything to epic.
Yeah. Anything less is uncivilized.
I mean, I could totally see it. I could totally see why. Um, that's I think that's the big thing is like it whatever habit you have, whether that's water, sleep, increasing your protein, going on walks, increasing your step count, um, reading a book, right? Reading, whatever that may be, it can be a skill that is trackable and you're able to actually see your your progress in what you do with that skill. So I'm jumping over here to my notes real quick. Uh, Again, apologies for the lack of preparation here. I was not expecting it to not work. So you're about to get the raw behind the scenes of what it looks like on my end when I'm creating these skills. So I guess maybe that's the big benefit of it. So I'm gonna share this real quick, and we're gonna dive into what it looks like. Okay, can you see this?
Yes. Yes.
Cool. So here's what it does look like when you swipe to the left. I'm as I'm looking at it on my phone. I don't know why I couldn't swipe in the app that I was using,
Hmm.
but here's what it looks like. So again, it's very simple. There's only four categories here: skill overview, skill challenge, skill upgrade, and skill effects. So the skill overview has the rarity, the type of skill it is. So active is something that you have to actively use.
Right.
This is in the alchemy tree, which is nutrition. And has a daily cooldown. So basically, you could only go after the skill challenge once a day, right? And then before it resets. So the big thing is the skill challenge, the objective. So the objective for the uncommon version, it's not just, hey, complete XYZ or eat this much protein, right? It is consume 0.18 grams of protein per pound of body weight before bed to complete one progress day. And here's the big kicker with that is number one, you have to do two things. You have to figure out what's 0.18 grams of protein per pound of body weight, right? So you have to take out a calculator, do something, right? Or ask AI, do whatever you do nowadays, or whenever you're watching this in the future, if you're watching the recording. So for me, that's going to be 194 times 0.18. So I need to eat at least 34 grams of protein prior to bed in order to complete this skill challenge. Which for me, that is really easy because I eat yogurt before bed every single night. So,
Okay. It's about 28 grams of protein for me.
boom.
Okay.
That is the challenge in order to complete this skill challenge. Now, there's a reason why this is the uncommon version, right? Because the common version is a little bit more simple. It was simply eat a high protein breakfast, right? Just get eat a breakfast with a good amount of protein. I don't know if I think we had it at maybe like 20 grams of protein or something like that, something very achievable by many, but maybe a lot of people aren't focusing on. So you might be kind of getting the connection here where we're also educating on opportunities to increase your protein intake that you might not be considering or focusing on.
Hmm.
So common, you're focusing on increasing your protein in during your breakfast, which a lot of people neglect, right? Or they aren't really focusing on protein intake for breakfast. And then also once you do that a certain amount of times, you can upgrade to uncommon. In the uncommon version, you're now focusing on protein before bed. So we're kind of walking you through literally things that I've done in the past 15 years coaching people on how to increase your protein intake. That's the difference between a habit and infinite skills. Is a habit is do this one thing every day. Doesn't teach you anything, doesn't challenge you other than via discipline. Skills are habits that we are constantly and progressively challenging you with different things and also educating you on different ways that you can enhance that habit further to ultimately improve the key thing that you want from the habit or the skill, which in this case is increasing your protein intake. So we're walking you through step by step, and that's the power of each and every one of these skills. Is every single one of these skills walks you through this process and then challenges you in different ways to follow through. So for this uncommon version to upgrade to rare, I would have to do this for 15 consecutive days in a row, which is much harder than just doing it whenever you feel like it
Yeah.
for
I mean,
common.
I'm getting excited because I just made another post because I hit 12 completions for Golem's nourishment and I didn't even realize it. So
There you go. So you're ready for to upgrade to uncommon then.
oh yeah.
Okay. Congratulations. Early congrats.
Yep, that's that dopamine release, guys. See the smile on my face? I ain't playing. All
So
sorts of
yeah.
colors, baby. All sorts of colors.
So yeah, the next rarity skill is Golem's fortification. Again, it's evolving from Golem's sustenance. And what comes with that? Well, we have skill effects. Again, a lot of these skill effects are actually backed by some data, as far as actual data that I've even personally developed over time, and also some latest research. For example, improving protein utilization efficiency as far as how your body processes and uses protein, increasing muscle mass, muscle recovery, metabolic rate,
Mm,
and
yes,
also immune system as well.
absolutely.
And as you can see, all of these are locked because it requires upgrading your skills rarity. And as you can see, the only two effects that we've unlocked so far are Golem's core fortification, just unlocking 10% increased protein utilization. And then we also unlocked this effect, Earth and Strength, which increases muscle mass by 5%. So those are the only two effects that I've unlocked so far with this particular skill. But as you can see, there's a clear path if you want specific effects or bonuses and benefits. Like, for example, unlocking Epic. If you want more muscle mass, unlock the rare version of this skill. Then eventually, once you unlock Epic, you'll unlock at least plus 5% muscle mass. And who doesn't want more muscle mass?
Phew. I know the barbarians want this. This has got to be like the barbarian's favorite skill. Protein? No problem.
Totally.
No problem. So
Totally.
I level up just eating, literally? Sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
So that's the path. Oh, where'd you go, Jasper? There you are. That is the path. Again, just a little sneak peek of what that process looks like. Again, it would have looked a lot better inside of our app, but for some reason I couldn't swipe in the app. I needed to like use like my mouse couldn't like
Yeah. I
do
mean,
the
it's
swiping
okay.
thing.
I mean, seeing the behind the scenes, page and stuff. That's like a little treat for us.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's good enough for now, because the best way to honestly experience it is to play Infinite, right? Which brings me to the end of this Warrior Circle here. To recap everything that we covered in our conversation today, we went over just the background and the manifestation of the skill system itself,
Hmm.
building it from just a simple habit tracker to something that is growing, evolving, non-linear, and far more engaging than just doing the same thing every single day, and hoping for the best, right?
Hmm.
That's the big thing. We also dove into our old skill system versus our new system, all the details as far as how we've improved our prior skill system, um, compared to even just habits in general. And then we dove into an actual practical example of what it looks like inside of our Infinite Fitness app and what skills actually look like inside of our fitness app and how they are tracked. Jasper also mentioned a little bit about how to upgrade skills as well by heading over into our forum and things like that. If you want to dive deeper into all the changes that we made in our most recent update, I provided a link in the comments that you can jump into and visit that in our website. You can actually, this is the link.
Bam! Right there.
Actually, that's the link to our blog.
Psych.
This is the link. Again,
There.
long link. You just gotta tap the link. You don't gotta remember the URL. I know it's long. That's the link that you can check out. You can visit our Infinite Library again for free. Just head over to our website and you can set up a bronze tier account. This is our website here. Set up a bronze tier account for free. Head over to our library and access hundreds of pieces of free educational material, new updates. We are very transparent with everything that we are adding into Infinite and the experience and the value that we're adding to all of our current players. So feel free to dive into our update notes to get a deeper look into what we've added in our skill system. Again, our website is right here. New domain. Super simple to remember. You don't got to remember how to spell Infinite. And again, head over to the comment section if you want to dive into my latest blog that I just dropped today. Again, you don't have to remember the URL. If you do, props to you. But I dove into habits themselves, the difference between habits and skills, and how we combine all of them together in 7 quests that you can actually complete today inside that blog to really start to build habits and skills together and
Hmm.
combine both of those worlds to truly make progress on your health and fitness journey. So, all that being said, any final thoughts on the skill system, Jasper?
Yes. To all of you who are watching, it's fun. Okay. It's not boring. It's not complicated. It's fun. You're gonna have fun doing it, and you're gonna get your sexy on, man. Like, what are you waiting for? Click on the links. Do it. Do it right now. Do it tonight. Do it tomorrow. The stars have already aligned. That's why you're here watching. Do it.
I agree. As you can see in the artwork in the background, you can't tell, but it's all the stars are aligned.
Exactly. Bam, right there. Right there.
All that being said, that's it for today. I hope you feel a little bit more inspired to transform either your body, your mind, or your spirit by embracing fitness as a fantasy RPG. If you're ready to unlock your ultimate warrior potential, experience real world transformation, level up your strength, resilience, and mastery, be sure to visit our website below, fitnessfantasyrpg.com.
Bam, right there.
Remember, this is the Warrior Circle, your weekly quest for growth, challenge, and epic adventure. I'm Walt, your wizard guide by your side on this infinite journey. As always, conquer the day, warrior, and join us next week for another epic quest. See you
Peace.
later.